Hello, good evening. Welcome to this week's FX update. It's been a pretty quiet week for the majors, really. If you think about all the craziness that's been going on elsewhere, so all the action's really been in bonds and in equities. So, as it's turned out, it's really been more about the cross rates than it has about the actual majors themselves. Now, I spoke last week and over the last couple of weeks, sell the weakest, buy the strongest, and that had been pound Aussie, which you sell, and the pound Kiwi. And we talked about this major target that was the where it could go to 172.10, and we duly reached that target on Monday. The low was 0.8, so pretty much perfect there. Then there's a series of hieroglyphics here. The green diamond represents the downtrend ending, which had moved up to a 240-minute chart. And then the little blue arrow there is also a timing point, and then another diamond appeared the following day. I just want to talk a little bit about fundamentals. Obviously I'm a technical analyst, but I've been in this game 40 odd years, so you can't help but know a lot of the fundamentals. I would have thought it would be very difficult to be particularly bullish at the pound this week with everything that's going on, and also what's going to be happening potentially next week. And yet the market rallies the best part of 500 points. It wasn't really about pound strength as such, it was about Aussie weakness, because they also had their own information where they didn't do anything with interest rates midweek. So trying to second guess fundamentals is a pretty thankless task at the best of times. The chart tells you, you don't tell the chart, just execute what it tells you to do. So we've rallied pretty strongly. I've got 178.19 up to 178.66 is the resistance zone, but that trade effectively, that short trade should have been liquidated and taken a nice little profit. Now we also had pound Kiwi, and we said that the Kiwi was a long way away from its target, and there has been a timing point signal on Wednesday, but immediately you can see that the rally is nowhere near as strong as the pound against the Kiwi. Just shows you that the Kiwi remains the strongest one. So that's how we stand with that. While we're on the pound crosses, we'll quickly do Euro pound, and we'll have a quick look at the pound yen as well. Not much to report on Euro pound. It is trying to break up. We're pretty close to the close. It's about half an hour, 45 minutes away. Trying to break out in the short term. 91.01 is the major resistance, so mildly positive there. Do pound CAD. I'm going to do the crosses first, really, because then when we look at the majors, you'll see why some of these crosses have actually made their move. So the pound CAD has been trapped in sideways for a very long time. There's a negative today, and that's actually about dollar CAD. It's not actually about the pound at all as such. Right, let's go to the dollar index. It's been a pretty quiet week, chopping and changing. We've had a variety of signals in sideways, but we're still above this monthly level. And if I'm just going to push this up a little bit. The key moment really was Tuesday. We came down to the monthly level, which was also the third deviation down on the range deviation pivot. So this is my way of analysing the limits of range on any particular days. It's skewed for the trend. It's not like normal pivot theory. You can go to my website and there's some help files in there that would explain it. It's also covered extensively in my first book. So a very powerful study. It qualifies every single bar. That's one of the things that I really like about it. So when you're at a major support point and it's the limit of a normal day, then it's a pretty powerful buying point, if only for the short term, and that's really what's happened. So as long as we avoid a daily close above that below that 35 point, then it's still mildly positive. Now we've talked about the euro in spot terms not really having a lot to hang on to apart from a monthly level, which is a fair bit above, and we've done very, very little this week. However, if I go to the futures, I've talked about, I think it's 114 low figures, can't remember the exact number now, and we've effectively been there 3 or 4 times now It's 114.13. We're trying to close above it, but of course the dollar index is still north of its important level. But it's sort of sideways. We've still got this very big level at 115.24. Remember, that's basis the futures. The futures is actually very close to the spot at the moment. There's not a lot of difference between the two. Let's do the yen. The yen is similar in that we have not a huge amount to hang on to in spot terms, but there is a bit more on the futures. The thing that stands out with dollar yen this week is we did have a sell signal on Tuesday, but if you think of the equity weakness, I mean, the Dow's down 500 at the moment. Dollar yen is just not, it's not falling. You know, normally you get yen strength, and it's really not happening at all. So, and if I go to the futures, there was the converse signal on the futures, which is at a major support, a weekly level. It's gone up a little bit, but really, I'd have to say that it's a pretty lackluster performance. So there's the buy signal. It's a pretty big one, you know, 5 arrows, but it hasn't really developed hugely. Let's go to the Aussie. Aussie's really turned this week. That's the major development. We never reached an upside target. They were slightly dovish in their central bank, and that's what's caused it to be weak pretty much since Tuesday. Still got this 71.59 points, so that's very, very important. Your main focus for this week. Kiwi also hovering around its monthly level, so it had a timing buy signal that went above the monthly just about, edged higher, and now we're sitting right at it. 68.62, we're pretty much there. You don't really want it to now make a daily close below today's low. That would suggest that we're going back on the defensive again. Dollar CAD. Dollar CAD also came up to a very important monthly level. We touched it on Wednesday, popped above it on Thursday, but we couldn't close above it, and then we've reversed today. Pretty strong numbers on employment on dollar CAD. So at the moment, if we do bounce 133.87, and it's worth us looking intraday to see whether there's some opportunities early on Monday. What looked like a breakout in the short term, we knew we were coming into a major level. We haven't managed to close above it. This area here, 133.60 to 133.69, so those levels are not going to change on Monday morning. So any bounce up to there and then a reversal will provide yourself with a pretty easy stop loss. Okay, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you.